Welcome everyone to this week's edition of The Week in Real Estate. And well, straight off the bat, I can tell you that the Aussie house market, house prices are continuing to rise in March, shrugging off the initial impacts of the virus on the real estate market. Now, I've got new data that was published this week by two research houses, two key sources in fact, and they're showing that house prices rose in capital cities and also in regional markets during the month. Now, despite government restraint on auctions and open for inspections, and the generally negative sentiment in the community, CoreLogic figures did tell us that every capital and all regional jurisdictions except the NT recorded rises in house values during March. Now, nationally, house prices rose by 0.7% and apartments rose, good to see apartments on the march, by 0.6% in March, according to the data from CoreLogic. The other source we have is SQM Research. Now, their figures also show no evidence so far of any negative reaction to the coronavirus situation. Let's just see what happens over the next quarter. Now, their figures showed meaningful price rises for houses in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Canberra, Darwin and Hobart, with no change up north in Brizzy. Now, Adelaide was the only city, or capital city rather, to record a small decline in March, according to SQM Research's data. Now, the ABS, they have told us that household wealth reached a record high of $11 billion in the December quarter. That was a 3% gain delivered in that quarter, and it was the strongest uplift on residential real estate since December 2009. ABS chief economist Bruce Hockman, well, he says the result reflects the rebound in house prices in the second half of last year, and a rise in other financial assets as well. He did go on to say that the residential real estate market posted another quarter of strong real holding gains. It reflected a 3.9% rise in residential property prices in the December quarter for last year. Whereas the value of household financial assets, now that includes shares and holdings in super funds, had a modest increase of only 1.5%. So that reflected a smaller holding gains on financial assets. It was also reported that average household wealth increased by $12,809 to $442,705 per person. It is the highest on record. It reflected actually an 8.6% increase. Now, so where is the property market headed? Well, according to Chief Investment Officer of La Trobe Financial Services, Chris Andrews, well, he believes that employment and conditions and the economy are likely to rebound strongly following COVID-19 outbreak. His confidence stems from the ability of the Aussie economy to bounce back once the immediate threat of the virus has passed. And he refers to the immense resilience previously seen in our Australian housing market. He notes periods in the past when the housing market had initially responded negatively to broader economic conditions, including the old GFC, the global financial crisis back in 2008, and the credit squeeze of 2017 to 2019. Who could forget that? He stated that in both cases, there was an initial drop that was followed by a sharp bounce back, a sharp rebound as normal conditions began to re-emerge. Now, we're seeing online lenders, they are reporting, no surprise though, a sharp increase in inquiries as homeowners are looking to refinance that is, and take advantage of the lowest mortgage rates in Aussie history. Mortgage broker Clint Howden of Hero Home Loans, well, he shared that his online inquiries have increased to 5 times their usual traffic, with first home buyers and families driving that surge. His firm is actually 100% online, and he shared that, well, as you now can't physically go and see a broker or a lender, that they're seeing a lot more people coming through their online inquiries. Interestingly, he said that this also happened after the GFC as well. When the stock market crashed, people took their money out and people had self-managed super funds. He feels the same kind of thing is happening right now. I think that's a fair comment, that people do tend to feel safer with bricks and mortar, and they tend to retreat that way when things are a little bit shaky. He also shared that the lowest interest rate right now is 2.09% from ING, which is a fixed rate, and that he felt that the major banks are also offering low rates. An example being CBA, well, they've got a rate at 2.19%. Now, technology is certainly taking a hold. With the government's ban on public auctions and open for inspections, what we are seeing is auctioneers are rapidly adopting purpose-built streaming and bidding platforms. Now, Domain Senior Research Analyst Nicola Powell said there are many positive aspects relating to the online auctions. Now, what we're seeing is more research being able to be done from the comfort of people's homes. And in fact, she thinks that the market will actually eventually adopt online auctions as the next thing over the next 5 to 10 years. As she said, well, because everything's done pretty much online nowadays. And an example, she said, well, if you look at southeast Queensland, they have a lot of interstate buyers and auctions are being done online that way. Auctioneer John Bongiorno, well, he said it's actually amazing the way that everybody's adopted and adjusted to online auctions so quickly. He shared that things are actually still quite busy at the moment because people are rushing to do deals, and that's both vendors and buyers. And finally, my quote of the week, well, that's going to go to Cameron Cusher of REA Group, who said, once we start to make inroads into the coronavirus epidemic, then sentiment can come back quickly, and there is a lot of stimulus in place to support that. That's my wrap for this week, friends. Be well. Keep your social distancing in place as always for the moment. Phil Robertson of Philip Robertson Property saying ciao and bye for now. Have a great week.